Are we live yet?
Did you do it? Did you push the button?
I didn't do it.
I did it, and we're live.
And we're live.
Hello. Welcome to the wormhole. Welcome to the wormhole. Welcome to the wormhole. Welcome to the wormhole. Does everybody see us yet? Give me a yes, you see us in the comment section. Welcome to the wormhole. Ahoy! Ahoy, knights around a table.
Get the pitchforks. Are we live? Because they're saying pitchforks.
They're saying we're late.
How much? Maybe
We see
15
you.
seconds.
We see you.
Hello.
All right, we're up.
Okay.
Good. I'm so glad. Welcome to the wormhole, everybody. We're so happy that you're here. Let's just get right into it. What the heck is the wormhole? Everybody's been guessing. Everybody's been coming up with ideas. Who can answer that?
Tom,
So
answer
the
that.
wormhole is a thing that we're going to start doing that is going to be a semi-regular digital event where we make news announcements, do big reveals. If there's anything coming out of Orange Nebula, it will be revealed from the wormhole. We'll also do live AMAs, and eventually we're going to do sketch comedy, variety show madness. But basically, if you're interested in anything having anything to do with Orange Nebula, this is going to be where we drop it upon you.
I wish we could have a trivia where we ask questions of the viewers, and whoever gets it first right, gets prizes. That's my plan.
I like that plan.
Mark, did Tom miss anything? Are you happy with that explanation of
I
How
don't
happy-
know what the
how
hell
happy
the
are you with
wormhole
me?
Is either. Like it's just gonna be what it is.
30 minutes ago, we were like, Mark, sit down on the couch. We're doing a thing. And
Right. I just do what I'm told.
yeah,
That's how it goes.
So to reiterate, the wormhole is
let's reiterate.
in less words, so everybody can understand.
The wormhole is a semi-regular digital event in which
Perfect.
we reveal stuff.
And answer questions.
That's another way of saying reveal stuff.
I guess that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Reveal the answers to the questions.
If you want to see us reveal stuff, tune into the wormhole.
Okay, so first thing on the agenda then is we have one big announcement. We've been hearing requests for this constantly. So the O-Neb Discord is officially live.
Dun, da, da,
Boosh.
da.
Boosh.
Okay.
It's about to be live, right? Are we pushing
Is it about
It's,
to?
it's just hidden in a secret spot.
So could people go find it now if they wanted to?
They can. So to access the secret spot, go to orangenebula.com/discord.
Boom.
And you will then be redirected to an invite that you click on, and it will take you to the Discord server. Theresa, do you want to explain what Discord is for people who don't know what the heck is going on?
So I've not practiced this at all, so this is going to be a completely bizarre way to say it. But imagine that you had like chat rooms, like different places for all these chat rooms to exist. We now have one in an area where a lot of other groups have chat rooms. And this chat room is broken down by different subjects. You can kind of understand what's happening at a clear and concise way, as opposed to going to the standard chat room, which is just kind of a of everything. But this side, you can see maybe different games, different ideas, different concepts, and kind of sort through the whole conversation. How was that?
I'm glad I asked you.
The sound effect helped?
Many things helped.
Oh, okay.
Also, I think there might be a whole little thread about your hair because everybody's saying, where did your hair go?
It went away. It was cut with scissors, and it went onto the floor, and then it went into a bag and onto everyone's feet, and then the dog drug it around the house, and now it's in the garbage.
Okay.
Yeah, is that what you meant?
Sometimes I plant my hair in the backyard after I cut it, so you should
I didn't
try
do
that.
that.
next time.
Theresa tried to get me to bring it in, and Theresa wanted me to fertilize the pots in the office with it, but I got that note too late.
Yeah,
See?
I mean, I did steal hair from Krista to do the same thing.
See?
We all have.
See?
I've made some choices.
As one last note on Discord, though, before we roll on, the thing we're really hoping for with the Discord is that it becomes a wonderful hangout, particularly for everyone who does not engage with social media. We have a very fun and wonderful Facebook presence and group and community that has grown on Facebook, but we totally understand that many people don't want to hang out on Facebook, and that's perfectly understandable. So Discord serves as sort of our own isolated space where you can go, you can hang out with the community, you can joke around, you can have warm, fun, silly, whatever conversations, but it is free of everything else that comes with social media. It's just Orange Nebula stuff. Nothing else is going to be inundating your feed, and it gets to be a nice isolated space. And so we're really hoping that Discord gets to become sort of a central pillar of the community that doesn't require social media.
Tom's Hair Discord group coming soon. Thank you, Nick Dixon, for the idea. Also, quick feedback we got is that some of the mics are quiet, not Tom's. So if we want to keep our mics closer up to here so that everybody can hear real well, we would appreciate that.
As you wish.
Same.
So, less words. Where do they go if they want to go to our Discord? Where do they go?
orangenebula.com/Discord.
Beautiful.
Also, for the next 2 days in the Discord, you will find that there is a server in there called there's a channel in there called Make Theresa Snort. The 3 posts that Theresa snorts the loudest at will be receiving some random thing in the mail from us whenever we get around to it.
I feel sad that it was labeled snort and not cackle, because I feel like cackle is probably closest.
Okay. Jared at home, please rename that channel. Make Theresa cackle. She just got herself the first prize, so there's 2 prizes left to be claimed. Right. And yeah, so Theresa, if someone was to try to make you cackle, what should they be thinking of?
Gosh, like kind of like really dry humor,
Dark
humor. Let's
Dark
be
humor.
real.
You're
Yeah,
going to need to
dark
make
and
it as
dry.
dark as the channel rules allow, basically.
Dark and dry.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, let's move on. I would love to answer everybody asking if there will be a snack chat, but we'll talk about that later. So, news. Next news on the list is a new release that we've been talking about. So, Mark, can you start us off a little bit talking about Archive of the Ancients?
Yeah. Okay. So we have been working for a long time on some type of an upgrade to meet a number of different criteria. One of them is to house everything. So it is kind of a big box solution, but it also includes a lot of other things to kind of bring home all of the things that we've released in the Vindication world over time. So you've got expansions, you've got modules, you've got all these extra promo packs and promo pairs and all these cards, and it's probably a mess. Wherever you have it, it's probably all over 3 or 4 of your little cubes. We have now a home for that, a big strong box.
Big strong home.
Big strong home for that. In addition to that, though, there are some extra little perks in there that we wanted to be real thoughtful about some of the ideas that the community had come up with. One of them was like, I want to do a little action tracker to kind of help reduce the cognitive load of my turn when I'm doing something really complex or I'm doing something, nuanced in a multi-turn, combo type of a thing. So based on some of what the community had put together, we decided to design some action trackers for each player that are going to be in there, so you can kind of track what you've been doing as you go along your turn. Noah at Game Trays has completely re-engineered the entire system of the trays and the storage and the boxes and all the stuff in this giant thing.
Shout out to Noah.
Big shout out to Noah.
In here talking the whole time.
Yeah, I mean, this guy takes his work very seriously and is really good, and he's definitely one of us. And I mean, we've been working on this for months, actually, and very, very happy about it. All of the individual player trays for Vindication have been re-engineered so that they now hold the dashboard in the lid like Unsettled. They hold the monument board. They hold the stuff from Leaders and Alliances, all the little bits and pieces. Now you have like your own complete little set. And then the tray color is going to match the player color. So green player gets a green tray and so forth. So there's that. There's also a set of 24 dividers and some boxes to put all of the cards in so that you can store your cards in a much more cohesive solution. The little card dividers, we've posted a couple things about them. They're double-sided and they're flippable, so you've got different options for what the artwork and what the text and all those things say. But we know that a lot of people like to make sure all their stuff is tight and precise and organized, and they're super anal about it, and I'm the same way. So that's going to be in there. We're also doing a unified rule book in there, so all of the expansions and additional modules, the world box, the Odyssey module, all the rules are going to be in one book with any of the refinements and adjustments and tweaks that they need to have. So a ton of stuff in there.
Is it Calyx compatible?
It is. It fits in the Calyx cube.
What about sleeves?
Yeah, we're just gonna hit all of yes.
Yes.
It accommodates
It's
all
now
of your
or
sleeves as
it's
well.
in ground control.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm trying to hedge my bets now.
Sleeved cards, including the event cards, which are the different size cards in Chronicles. Everything fits in the box. All of the minis we've ever made fit in the box. Everything fits in the box. Everything. And everything will release in the future will fit in the box. Except the playmat.
Except the neoprene playmat.
Except the neoprene playmat.
But thankfully
right.
that has a very beautiful embroidered bag, so it's going to
Yes.
be okay.
So, Tom, how do people get this?
So that is the thing that we've been working really hard on the last few weeks that we're really excited about is we're releasing the Archive of the Ancients in 2 versions. One version is ready to be loaded up with your existing collection, so it's basically empty-ish other than the half dozen new things that Mark just lined out. So you can get the ready-to-load archive, and then we're also doing a version of it that comes with absolutely everything we've ever made already in the box. So if you are wanting basically the everything ever all-in version of Vindication in the archive ready to go, we're doing that too. And we have managed to finagle it to where all of this can be added to your existing pledges in the Vindication Chronicles campaign. So if you have already completed your pledge manager for that campaign, which 98% of people have done, you need to follow an email from CrowdOx to go back to your pledge. There's a button on there to unlock your pledge or reopen your pledge, and then upgrade to new pledge tiers that should be, they're not there yet. CrowdOx is going to activate them sometime in the next half hour, and then you will be able to upgrade to new pledge tiers where your all-in can include the archive, or you can add it to your blue pledge if you were just pledging Chronicles, and it will ship all together, which will cut down on your shipping costs dramatically, and it really is just wins across the board.
So the box can be sleeved. Is that what I'm hearing?
That's
Yes.
Ryan. That's Ryan Smith
So
right
I'm also
there.
hearing that the playmat actually can wrap around the box. Is also what I'm hearing. Is that accurate?
If you wrap the playmat around the box and staple it, it will all fit in a hefty bag. I recommend the Gorilla brand bags. They're very stretchy.
What about our embroidered bag? Can it fit in? Can it fit in our scum bag? Can do we have a giant? Okay. So to wrap it up in less words, the Archive of the Ancients is available when, where, how? Two sentences.
Following this live stream event, the Archive of the Ancients will be available on CrowdOx through your existing pledge. If you don't have a pledge, you can go to orangenebula.com, and there will be a link to go make a new pledge.
Mm-hmm. Good job.
I'm so paranoid that my mic is 10 times louder than yours. Is that the case?
It's not the mic.
Is it
It's
just
just
me?
the voice.
Okay. Tom is louder. But then everyone's being really respectful.
Just regulate
about
Tom, not the mic.
Yeah.
Calm Tom down.
If you find the secret snack compartment in the big box, you will get a secret prize
Which is a snack compartment.
in the
Yes.
big box.
I like the way you think. Yeah. It is. I
Okay.
will say this. The storage solution for the game and all of its crazy amount of content and the modules, we know that it's crazy. We know that there's a lot of stuff there. Is very elegant. Like, I am very happy with the way it came out. And again, Noah at Game Trays worked tirelessly on this and kind of was probably fed up in the middle of the process with me. And we worked together on it for a long time. And it just feels like everything now has a home, and it feels a little bit more cohesive, even with all
home.
the different things.
Strong home.
A strong home. Yes.
Okay.
So I'm personally, as the passion project, for me, it feels complete now. Like, it doesn't feel like it just kind of continued growing all over the place. It feels like it all kind of came together, and so I'm very happy with it.
Lacey's not listening to you.
She's like, let's just get to the next
she's
point.
just giggling at the comments.
It's just so great. They're like, I use my embroidered playmat bag as my tile bag. So you imagine reaching your arm all the way in
Like
for
sticking
the
a hockey
tiles.
stick in there, and you're like,
You know,
And
you
yes.
can put so many cans of Pringles in that thing.
do they still make Pringles?
Yes.
Yeah.
Back to snacks.
The fun don't stop. Okay.
Both tutuks fit in there. Yes.
If
Boom.
we don't talk about Unsettled now, people are reaching through the screen, hitting me about it. So, other new releases. Let's talk about Unsettled. Okay. Can people order it? Where can they get it now? What's going on with Unsettled? I see Mark and Tom eyeing each other like, who gets to answer this question?
That's a Tom one for
And
sure.
Tom keeps looking at me, and I'm like, no, I answer this question enough every day. I don't need to answer it right now.
All right, what's going on with Unsettled?
Okay, so broad overview of Unsettled. It is fulfilling in a drawn-out manner because of the situation with the boats. The U.S. stock is currently 5 of the 6 containers are in port in the U.S., just sitting there waiting. They are actually customs cleared, but now they're just sitting there waiting along with millions of other containers. So they will get through when they get through. Every time we push for more information, the people that we talk to drag themselves up from where they've been crying on the floor, and they're like, what do you want from us? Like, we got this stuff here. It's a miracle. And I say, okay, go back to your floor. So the real answer is we'll probably be fulfilling the U.S. in about the next 2 weeks. At that time, we will then also have more stock of planets 5 and 6. Theresa, I think that's something we get asked about a lot. If you did not order planets 5 and 6 and you want them, those will be available on orangenebula.com once the U.S. stuff gets to us.
With sleeves as well, correct?
What's that?
Sleeves for
Yes,
the
we
game?
will also have sleeves at that time
Perfect.
too.
Everyone wants to know which port they can go unload the containers
They're
at.
sitting out. They're sitting outside the Los Angeles port.
Okay.
Yes. Then they have to make their way to San Diego,
Your
where our
side
fulfillment
quest
center is.
is.
Yes. Best of luck. There is one final container that is still in China that is trying desperately to leave. That one hopefully just represents some of our excess stock, so it probably won't dramatically influence any sort of fulfillment timeline. We'll see.
I just expect that one to explode at some point.
it
It might as well.
It's just gonna sink.
Oh.
It's just gonna tumble off.
Don't make
into
it
the
real.
dock.
Don't make it real with the big emotional response.
There's an
I just imagine how hard my life will get once that happens.
Yeah, all of our lives.
That's fair. We'll just close ground control. Yeah, they left the planet.
I just need you all to know right now that there is an entire everyone's saying what supplies they have to break into the containers and where to meet and when.
You guys are my heroes.
I'm very proud of you. Go do your
Let's
thing.
say-
Yeah.
Should we be
What can I
advocating for
legally
felony
say?
convictions?
I was gonna hedge it back, but you know what? Help yourself. That's right. It's fine.
Okay, so what about people who still want to buy it?
So, like by the framework itself,
Yes.
Right.
there will be a very, very limited amount of the framework available probably after fulfillment. The game started selling like crazy after we did our print run, and it is essentially sold out. We do have a number of extra copies that we hold back for bleep happens. So if, people's packages disappear on the way in the mail or a pallet gets smushed at a warehouse, we have extra copies to cover us. Assuming those aren't needed to resolve problems, we'll then be able to put those on our website after fulfillment is complete. But we truly don't know until we see how everything shakes out in the next few weeks. But ultimately, the game is darn near sold out. We will do another Kickstarter as soon as possible. That probably means this year. There are some details there we have to sort out before we can promise that, but that is the goal.
And when we do have things available, we will always be announcing that through the mailing list. So joining the mailing list at orangenebula.com, if you're not there, is the best way to find out when those things
That is
release.
always the best way to find out about stuff that we're putting out on the website.
And that's orangenebula.com/mailing list, one word.
Highly recommend you do that today if you're not on there, just because of the things that I know.
Hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Don't we also have a /newsletter? Have we just made this really easy?
Well, so there's, okay.
Derek?
I redirected it.
Okay, never mind. I didn't ask this
mail-
question.
Mailing list
This
is
is
so...
this is
She's
way
got
above
you.
my pay grade. Yeah, this
Mailing list is because I couldn't remember /newsletter, so I just said mailing list, and then made that happen so I didn't have to remember 2 things.
I have some follow-up questions for later.
We're gonna have an internal meeting now.
Quick clarifying question. For Unsettled, when we do the next run, will it be a second edition or just a new Kickstarter? What's the details on that?
Yeah, so it'll be another print run of all the existing content and some new planets, number to be determined.
Okay, great. Thank you.
New planets.
Okay.
Planets.
So there's going to be lots more Unsettled questions, and we'll have space for them within our AMA. There's one more new release that we want to talk about, or I guess 2 more new releases that we want to talk about before we move into AMA land. So, you want to talk about the hat? Who's in Hat Land, getting to talk about some of our new merch here?
We can do that, yeah. So we decided to do a little different style hat, and you can't really kind of subtle and nuanced, and for people who don't like to like bling the brand. Yeah, we just did that kind of almost for us internally and for anybody who wants one. Those just came in. We got a limited supply of those, and if that's your thing, jump in. I think they're going to be in the store today.
And we also have a patch that it very much plays off of that Orange Nebula black logo. So if you're wanting just that patch, maybe put on your backpack or bomber jacket, whatever you got.
Black on black, really simple. Johnny Cash.
All right, I see you all commenting that the audio went out for a little bit. You didn't miss anything. I mean, it was Mark explaining things, so like you didn't miss a whole lot.
Just forget about
So
it.
the hat that is we just showed you on screen, Mark was holding it up to the camera awkwardly and describing his motions.
This is going to become a therapy
So-
session, isn't it?
It's going to be the
It's an
outpost real quick
intervention
here, where we're just going
first.
to talk about our feelings.
Yeah, you know what happened?
your
We gave
shots while we're
permission to
live,
break
it's
into a
fine.
cargo ship, and then it's like,
Right, everything.
shut off.
Oh, it's Mark? Shut it off.
Yeah, the government is spiking our feed. Recap: we have a new hat. It's a Flopsy Dad hat. It's very cool, black on black, direct embroidery, Orange Nebula logo. There's also an Orange Nebula black on black patch that's available. It has an iron-on backing. It's really nice. I have it on my backpack. Those 2 things are now available. Yes.
They're now available after the live stream. They
After
will
the
be
live stream, those
available.
will be available. Thanks, Derek.
Also, big thanks to Justin over here. He's working all of the audio and video. So thanks for cutting Mark for a minute. I appreciate it, and getting him back. When
I
it was
told you I
time.
love your instincts.
Payback.
This is the reason he's in charge.
All right, so I'm going to move us into some AMA. So we have quite a few questions that came through from social media that I'm going to pull from, but also feel free to start asking questions here. I know that I will miss some. If they include food, I'll probably prioritize them. So let's start with something kind of broad. So Joan, I'm going to drop this into the chat for you, Justin. Joan, who is here right now, asked the question.
Joan's just peeking behind this curtain. over there.
I mean, here on the live
Just don't make eye
stream.
contact.
Okay, you can find on the internet lots of these making of different kinds of games, but nobody says how they got the initial idea. How did you get your initial idea for the 2 games? I feel like I could say it succinctly, and then Mark, you can tell me why I'm wrong, and then elaborate. Would that be okay?
Sure.
So let's start with Vindication. So, opening lines of Vindication, you, the wretched scumbag, okay? So there was a time in Mark's life where he felt like he was a wretched scumbag, alone.
Like today, yeah.
Alone, in his house without any hopes, goals, and dreams that were leading you forward to something that felt as fulfilling as you would like to feel. And so being able to create a system where you could gain honor over time and vindicate yourself, I mean, tell me why I'm wrong.
It's hard to follow that. Yeah, actually, so for Vindication was a segue into a second part of my career. And I just wanted to do something for me. And I was burnt out in the rest of my life, yes, and I did feel like that. I wanted to do something to prove to myself that, you know, I could be creative and I could take something from start to finish, and a bunch of other stuff. And I wanted to do some stuff for my kids to train them that there's, you know, community is important, and playing a game across the table from other people is important, and not just getting lost in your digital devices and stuff. And so it evolved very quickly into something that kind of, well, maybe we should have other people play it. Maybe we should try to crowdfund it. And then it kind of took off from there. And yeah, I mean, that's kind of how that one came about. I did want it to be about something positive. I wanted it to be an exploration in the concept of you know, heroism and to a lesser extent honor. And it just kind of went from there. Story building, world building. On the heels of that, I had this idea, well, I'm not really fond of cooperative games, and maybe that would be a good challenge, right? Because that's really where you start to go out of your comfort zone and go into something that's a little more challenging, and where you actually find the most growth. And then Tom and I kind of together built Unsettled in the following years, and that was a whole different journey.
Yeah, so the way that we've started doing it now that this is part of what we do for a living, is as far as where does the idea come from. We like to start with what we call the sacred concept, which is something we've talked about on our podcast before, so this might be revision for people. But, you know, the question comes up a lot in board game design, you know, what comes first, the theme or the mechanics? And for us, it's typically neither. We start with this sacred concept that we want to explore. And, you know, with Vindication, Mark was exploring, would you say honor?
Heroism
and honor. And then all the mechanics and the theme and the concepts for that spun out of him wanting to explore those ideas. And
like where the attribute wheel came into place. And that was the one piece that one mechanic that stayed so constant through.
Exactly. That was the sacred concept.
Exactly, because it was so in line with that sacred concept. Now,
and then similarly with Unsettled, go ahead.
So my opinion, my prescription of where Unsettled came from and started from is with the success of Vindication, and I don't even think I've ever said this out loud to you, but with the success of Vindication and the team starting to grow, in my opinion, exploring the concept of group cohesion was very important for this office, right? What goes in to group cohesion? How do you maintain trust? How does the actions that you take impact the people next to you, and how does that impact your ability to reach a specific goal? And I mean, us getting to understand more about group cohesion was really important for us to be successful, and it just benefits everybody else that they get to play a game about it, I think.
Yeah. So we knew that we were making a game about group cohesion and trust before we knew that we were making a space-based survival game. That is something that just came later, mostly just from the fact that Mark and I both love old school sci-fi, and we wanted to make a science fiction game that has nothing to do with, you know, laser swords and aliens fighting each other and war and space marines. We wanted to make something that was closer to the science fiction experiences that we love from books, where space itself isn't just awe-inspiring and beautiful. And what's dangerous about space is that it's freaking weird, and not that something is actively trying to kill you because it doesn't like you. And so all of those things kind of got wrapped up in the genesis of the whole thing, which was exploring what it's like to work together as a group.
And that through line is what carried the entire process, right? You have to leave people with something besides the story. There has to be something beneath it. And Lacey, you were involved in the very early stages of that. I remember doing research and talking about concepts about how people work together.
Yeah.
And if that doesn't fit, like if it's not logical, if that's not actually how people respond when group trust changes, like this person does this thing and this person does something else, like that's a positive for him and it's a negative for her, that actually ended up in the game, right? So that part of it, I think, is really fun, because we're not just making games, we're making, you know, experiences that we want them to relate to.
I remember when we first started it, and I was going into group settings. I was like helping set up for a wedding, and the whole time I was just creepy stalking this group of people who just came together, and I'm like, so what is it about this that is allowing us to do this properly? Oh, when we laugh, it seems like everybody gets more motivation.
Everyone's
Oh,
like, wow, Lacey, you're real normal. This is a very standard conversation.
I just stalked it from the side. I didn't ask questions.
Oh, okay.
Not out loud.
Teresa, I saw you had something there.
Yeah, no, I was going to say one of the things that I have found the most endearing about Unsettled is seeing how the traits change in a like as trust changes, and how not all changes as trust depletes are negative, which I found fascinating and exciting. But I'm a geek.
Yeah, some people rise to the occasion when times get tough, and other people freak out. So manage that.
Okay,
Or
so
die.
In the interest of answering more than one question, let's move on.
I am. That's what I'm doing. Justin, you might want to go up to Roger Bow, and it starts with asterisk food asterisk because they're smart.
Roger gets it.
So with the release of the Archive of the Ancients, is this the end of Vindication content? Lots of people asking, is this the end of Vindication content?
We have decided that no, it is not the end. However, we're just going to calm down. We're just going to calm down a little bit with that so that we can explore some other stuff. I think we're going to continue to return to it. Whatever we do is going to fit in this box, except that mat. So that's the constraint we put on it. So at some point, if there's not enough room for enough cards or chits or whatever in that box, then you'll have to have it sitting in there with the lid half on. I don't know, but we're committed to continuing at a certain pace to extend that world, but it does have a lot of content that you probably haven't played yet. So,
Yeah.
Sorry I sent you too far, Justin. Thanks for looking. Did you ever think about, Christian Fern says, did you ever think about a Vindication graphic novel?
Actually, yeah, we thought about that at length. At one point, I wrote a pretty substantial script for one. And that might be something that we do return to. It's not in the cards immediately, but we are really interested in the idea of exploring each of our worlds as an ongoing IP, and not just, here's a game and an expansion for it, and now we're moving on to another game. Like, we want each thing that we release into the world to live on and continue to be interesting beyond just the game. And, like, Star Wars is an obvious and ridiculous example because it's Star Wars. But, Lucasfilm and now Disney did an amazing job of taking that movie and turning it into something that touches on basically every piece of media that you can imagine. And if you love the world of Star Wars, you can engage with it in whatever way you like. And we would love to do that with our worlds. That's why you don't see us putting out 3 or 4 games a year. You see us putting out 1 game a year, and then we want to really go deep on that. And eventually that will mean role-playing games, spin-off games, animated shows, hopefully, graphic novels, regular novels, you name it. We're excited about all that stuff.
Trivia game shows,
Sure.
live.
Who doesn't want to play the
Hot
Vindication
dog
Trivia
eating
game
contests.
you win.
Lotus Moon wants to know, Theresa, how long did it take your hair to look that amazing?
She woke up like this.
It's an 8 hour, so my hair appointments are 8 hours.
8 hours long sitting, getting your hair done.
Yeah, I bring a book, and I'm there for the long haul.
Mine are 8 minutes,
I bet you're right.
Yeah.
but I don't have fabulous hair, so that's why the lights are on you and
But
not
see,
on
the
me.
thing is, you also go like every 2 weeks. I like go every
true.
3 months.
Every 2 weeks, Thursday at 1.
Stop it.
It's on the calendar.
true.
That's when all hell breaks
I
loose
love
in
when-
the
I
office
love
when I'm gone.
When Mark says I don't have fantastic hair, and Teresa's face exhibited like 5 emotions as she tried to decide how to respond.
I was like, my filters for once caught every single response. It was like, don't say the following things.
Okay, this is an interesting analysis. Ryan Smith says,
Nope.
Yeah.
says Mark's sacred concepts seem to be about humanity, and it really hits deeper than a lot of games. Do you think that comes from us starting with the idea of a sacred concept? Is Mark just so deep?
It's well, first of all, it's not just me; it's the team. And with Unsettled, it was just as much Tom as it was me. I think if you don't have something significant and deep inside to build that through line on, the game feels a little bit empty to me, or the experience. And it's really hard to build beyond a game into a world if you don't have something deeper to attach it to. And maybe that is just kind of our perspective. I think there's a lot of stuff in the world that's maybe a little shallower, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, we're touchy-feely people. But I think you will have a deeper experience when you do ask yourself to start with something like a sacred concept, as opposed to, I'm going to sit down and make a cool Western game.
I was going to say Western. That was weird.
Now, I think anyone who sits down and says, I'm going to make a Western game, if that game ends up having any sort of substance or meaning, it's because they discover a sacred concept along the way. But the sacred concept is there. But if you just sit down and say, I'm going to make a Western game, and it really is just all about like cattle rustling and shootouts and, Texas Hold'em, like, okay, that's probably fun. And I would probably like that. Lots of people would like that, but it won't have the deeper level that we aspire to with our games.
Okay. Perfect. Will we, Chris
Thank you.
Chris
Let the record
Straffen.
show.
She said perfect.
Tom was perfect.
Chris Straffoff, I don't know. Will you ever consider releasing the artwork for Unsettled, the ones that were shipped as prints with the Kickstarter, so we can make desktop backgrounds and stuff? We released the digital artwork.
No, thank you. Mark and I are both just too dense to understand what's
Will
going
you
on.
release the digital artwork from Unsettled so people can make like desktop backgrounds? And
We
stuff?
will. Whether they're big enough for today's modern monitors is a different question. Not every illustration is 500,000 pixels wide. That said, we can make a folder full of digital assets for people to do what they will with. What are you thinking, Mark?
I'm thinking sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, there might be just a couple, just a handful.
Sure, strap on.
Yeah, we can make that happen.
Strap off. I don't know.
You know that
Nope. Remember your filter.
Okay.
Filter.
I've
Filter.
Remask.
I've seen a couple of these questions come both ways. So I just dropped one in from Christopher Armstrong, who said, I'd like to know if the team would fly down to Texas to play a game with me.
Is he offering?
Can we?
You pick up those first class tickets. Yeah, we'll probably make that happen.
I've also seen quite a few people asking, if I come to Vancouver, how can I see you? They're Office Quest 2022. They want to come and visit us. If they're in town, is that a thing? Can
we have cameras in the office that you can hack into. They are at.
We are going to start doing some local events like pickup days we've done in the past, and we're theoretically, if those are popular, we're going to broaden those out and make those a little bit more celebratory and have food and drinks and games and stuff like that. We would love to do that. We're also, I'm just going to say it, in the future at some point we're going to entertain the idea of NebCon, doing like a convention.
And by maybe entertaining it in the future, we have had multiple whiteboard sessions about it.
Would you be interested?
We would love
is
to
the
know what about NebCon would excite you and what would bring you there, because obviously, you have your Gen Con, you have your Origins, those are what they are, and we're not going to try to do what they do. So what would be a different experience that would excite you? Something that isn't currently offered at all the other conventions that are available. NebCon. Think about it.
Yeah.
Okay. This is kind of a technical question from that we got from Twitter, and
Hi,
surprising
Twitter.
that it came
Twitter
from
wants to know.
Twitter would love to know.
In Unsettled, is there a fixed turn order? Like, do you have to go? Are you going clockwise? You just decide. Is that like your initial test of group cohesion? Is like deciding your order? What is that about?
I'll go into my answer those questions mode. So the design intent is that, yeah, there's a fixed turn order, but part of the design intent is always house rules prevail. It's your game, it's your house, it's your friends. You play however you want. If you want to come up with another set of rules and share them with the community about like, hey, we did another one where you can take double turns and you can earn and unlock different things. Do those things, put those things together, share them, and play it however you want to. That's my official answer.
Preach.
I'm seeing things come up for what NebCon would look like. World building with O-Neb, like a little session on world building.
Oh, that'd be fun.
That would be great.
Snacks, NebCon snacks, of course.
It's going to lead to Snack Con.
Snack pit.
Lacey and I just picking out in the concession stand.
Yeah,
It's
perfect.
just a mosh pit with food.
Yes.
I was
Cheese
thinking.
balls.
I was thinking like a ball pit, but it's just full of snacks.
Yes.
You get all the snacks you can stick to yourself. Let's carry on. Let's move on.
There's gotta, I was thinking
Wow.
of what's the most elaborate way we could use cheese in this. So moving on
It's
is
like
probably
one of
fine.
those tubes where they blow all the money and you have to grab as much as you can.
but
But
it's those little baby bell cheese that just peg you.
Okay, we're
What?
doing great. We've got time
Baby
for
Bell cheese
for a
spank
few more
you?
questions.
Peg. Like, I'm stopping.
Okay, Ryan Fifield wants to know, given your obvious love of narrative and world building in your games, can we expect to see a more narrative campaign focused game?
you know that's
We're stunned.
yes and no. So one of the things that we really love about designing games, and that's really interesting to us about games as a medium as opposed to books or TV or whatever, is that games are uniquely suited to letting you tell your own story, you being the player. So something that we really love about the board game space is setting the stage for you to tell your own story on. And Vindication did that. Unsettled does that to its own degree. Other future projects do that too. Now, as you'll see with Unsettled, you know, we got a little more involved with giving actual narrative that's happening, and that was fun. And I think future games will take a similar approach of we're giving a little, you're giving a little, everyone's working together to tell a fun story together. Is there a part of us that thinks it would be really fun someday to just make a full-on storytelling game where you are playing through this experience that we have crafted for you? Absolutely. And we will probably do that sometime down the line. But right now, our design passion really is around letting you build your own story.
Yeah, be in it. I personally have a little bit of hesitation about trying to tell a story to someone, like this is what is happening to you, as opposed to letting them decide what happens to them. The agency of the player is something that I always try to fight for, and yeah, you could argue a number of points about that, but Vindication in particular was designed not to tell a story, but to offer a story that's different every time. That's part of why it's replayable the way that it is, so it's different every time. And if all of the content in Vindication was set up like a narrative, then you wouldn't want to play it 3, 4, 5, 10, 20 times because it would be the same thing and it would feel redundant. And I'm talking about the verbiage and the, you know, the actual narrative part of that. And so we do try to protect that concept that Tom outlined. That being said, is there a place in the future for us to do something that feels like you're on a journey and you're following a path? Yes, to me that very quickly starts to feel like a legacy type of a game where you can play it once and you feel like you're done with it. That's not to say you can't thread that needle and make that happen, but for me, I want to challenge people to come out of the safety of their comfort zone of letting a story be told to them as entertainment and put them in a space where they're able to take risks and fail and adapt and learn. And that's really where the excitement comes from for me. And maybe this is a little too deep. Maybe it's not the answer you wanted, but I feel like for me, that's what's thrilling about a game, is when I'm trying something maybe nobody has ever tried in a game, where I get to tell myself a story in my head about what this means, what this field looks like, what this swamp feels like, what that creature is composed of, instead of being told those things.
Do I have to do the finger?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
Just wrap it up.
Teresa.
I almost lost an eye with that wrap it up.
Teresa, how many Pringles fit in the Archive of the Ancient?
I was too busy eating and not counting.
Okay.
Good answer.
Will there be, as you're going through and you're playing with somebody new, you've got Archive of the Ancients. I think this question was from Brett. Is there a way that it'll be easily identifiable for you to add in specific expansions so you don't have to add it all in with a new player and that kind of thing? How are they going to be able to identify the cards that way?
So as much as is engineeringly possible, do I get credit for that?
Engineeringly?
Engineeringly.
It was terrible.
Okay. As much as was possible, the archive is designed in such a way that when you're getting content from an expansion, it's all kind of together. It is designed, again, by Noah intelligently, so it's not just, here are all the components, and then they're all going to fit in this box as efficiently as possible. It was designed more so to take into account the actual behavior and experience of engaging with the components and how you would realistically use them. Now, that said, there are considerations of size and things of that nature that had to come into account where, things aren't, it's not, here's the box of only the things from leaders. There's a little bit of crossover, but we did consider that and make it as intelligent and intuitive as possible so that when you're picking what to play, okay, here's all the base game stuff, and I want to bring in Chronicles, and it's not all just lumped together.
It's thoughtfully put together as best we could. It is impossible to make it perfectly efficient the way that the expansions and the bonus content all came together. Like it's just like mathematically impossible to make that concise. According to Noah, there are 6,600 plus components in this box with everything, including all the cards and the cubes and everything.
I'm almost mad about that.
It's embarrassing. But it's also awesome. And yes, there's like a Chronicles only tray. And then there's like a tray it's for leaders and villages together in one tray. So if you don't want to play with those, then you don't even have to open those trays. And so we did as much of that as we possibly could. And
Jacques wants to know Kickstarter or GameFound. Will we do any campaigns on GameFound?
We're definitely not opposed to doing campaigns on GameFound, and we talk about this internally all the time. Honestly, the way that the landscape changes, the crowdfunding meta evolves is so monthly that we will cross that bridge when we get to it. When it comes time for our next campaign, we will make that determination. We have certainly not made it yet. GameFound does some very cool things that hopefully Kickstarter is inspired by.
Agreed.
The Board Game Rhino says, Theresa, you're staring into my soul.
Your soul must be a dark place.
Oh, man.
I'm
Okay.
gonna wipe my spittle off the mic now.
And mine.
You're on your own.
There is quite a few questions about whether people can see more pictures of the Archive of the Ancients. Do we have a plan of how people are going to see more of that
Oh,
content?
we have more posts coming.
Okay.
Yeah, there's
Oh, yeah.
tons. And you will find all of that in CrowdOx. Like when you go to take a look, all that stuff is in there.
And as the development cycle goes on, we will come up with more, and we will post more on social and on the newsletter mailing list. We'll probably dump it in Discord too. So as we have those things, we will share them. But right now, there is quite a bit that you can see on CrowdOx as you go to look at it.
Jacques says he got a cackle. So,
But it wasn't in Discord. See, the thing was, it's in Discord. So
okay.
memes.
That leads us to the next thing. Somebody wants another quick, how do you get to Discord?
Okay, orangenebula.com, that slashy thing. Discord, Discord.
OrangeNebula.com
so good.
/Discord.
You did so good.
And after this live stream, once we're done, and don't leave yet because maybe there's a surprise at the end. When we're done, Derek is over there hurriedly getting the website ready to change the homepage to include a link to the Discord. Now Derek's leaving the building. I don't know
He's
that I
just
blame
done.
him. Yeah. You just see Derek walking past. Really, though, that's not a joke. Derek just left the building. But yes, the orangenebula.com homepage will include a link that you can click on that will take you directly to the Discord server.
Okay, is there a CrowdOx close date for Vindication yet?
Not currently, especially now that we've, blown the whole thing wide open. And I'm sure there's going to be a million questions. And
Tom's just gonna be crying into a pillow for the next week.
No,
Tom.
it's every time people
It's
ask
Theresa.
me when it's closing, I'm just gonna be like, soon. Just you've got time. Yeah, at least a month. We'll get noisy. Okay, that's the thing. We'll get noisy when we're closing it. So until then, if you need to make payments or wait a bit or, hit up the mailman, do your thing.
Yeah, John, Michael, you're right. But wait, there's more Marvel post-credit scene. So we're getting close to done with our AMA, and then we'll have one more announcement before we go. Grey Wolf wants to know, is there any relevant... Don't laugh at me. Is there any relevant...
Well, you said
Gravolf wants to know, is there any relevant information on the green Post-it note next to Mark? I have to know.
Oh,
we
you
leave
can
this
see
date.
that.
Who left the Post-it note?
So
I
this right
sat on
here
mine.
funny story.
basically is to tell me to keep my ass in line, right? Like where not to put it.
You're not supposed to sit.
That was
where
a
I'm not
post-it
supposed to
note.
sit.
Yeah, where don't sit there because you're going to be
It's
blocking
right here
the
next
orange
to my
bar.
phone. It's blowing up the entire time and ringing and.
His
annoying me.
instructions
I
were
thought
to
that was
throw it
gas
on the
'cause I could
floor
feel
when
it.
you sat down.
No, it was just like multiple texts in a call.
So
It
it's just
wasn't,
representative of Mark's failings.
wasn't chilly.
Okay. When we do the next round of Unsettled, will there be another community built planet?
That was a lot of fun the first time.
That was a lot of fun the first time.
Will there be? That's all you're gonna say.
I'm not going to make any promises whatsoever about that Kickstarter because then they're promises.
Okay.
Right.
Promises, promises.
I will tell you, it's going to be worth it. You don't want to miss that.
No matter what, we will do something fun that allows tons of engagement because that's who we are.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it will be that exact same thing again, we can't promise.
Okay. What's the running joke in the office?
There's only one.
There's a massive list.
I was going to say Mark.
Oh,
Yeah, especially at 1:00 on Thursdays.
Theresa, name a running joke in the office.
anytime I laugh and then don't share something, everyone gets real nervous, and very few people will text me for 5 minutes after.
They
that.
hide under their desks. Yes, of course.
Teresa will be sitting at her desk and all of a sudden she'll just start cackling. And there's about a 90% chance she's listening to something about murder.
Yeah, or
And so-
somebody's been hurt, or yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's just like you just know that the world has just became a darker place, and Teresa thinks it's hilarious. Krista has a fern on her desk that is sort of like spreading out over all her things.
Yeah, and what's funny about that is it's not alive. It's a plastic plant, and every
No.
time I come in, it's like 8 inches taller. Like, what the heck is going on over there,
It's a fair question.
Krista? She's laughing in the
Just
background.
giggling.
Okay, somebody's asking up here. I've been digging the Mickey Mouse Operation album Theresa recommended on the podcast a while back. What's the latest O-Neb soundtrack?
I don't get to make a lot of recommendations for music.
There's a reason for that. Teresa listens to what
Because
is
boundaries.
called the Ministry of Bad Music.
But they just said they liked the Mickey Mouse Operation.
Well, I mean, some of it's a winner, I guess. What else you got?
One thing I want to say.
Please don't encourage these
Hold on,
people.
let's have
Please don't encourage these people.
What?
This,
Recommend something.
I've honestly been listening to a lot of Glitch Mob, which if you like Little People, you'll like Glitch Mob.
What does that even mean?
Little People is good.
Little People is good.
Okay.
That Little People had the Mickey Mouse Operation album.
I see.
Okay.
Okay.
And so Glitch Mob is another, just very musical, very techno-y house music.
Let's just accept Little People is good
Okay.
and move on.
Okay. One thing I do want to say, just because they said Orange Nebula soundtrack, is Jared and Justin have been doing an amazing job, like actually composing some of the music that's been going into the videos that you've seen coming out. So the beautiful music behind the How to Play video and whatnot, Jared and Justin have been putting together, and it's been so fun to watch them kind of create that
Yeah,
from
bringing
scratch.
that in-house has been really exciting.
a
Yeah.
lot of cool, a lot of the media that we're experimenting with, is coming from the minds of these crazy guys.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I want to say, first off, that I appreciate everyone following my rules and adding #food or *food to the beginning of your questions. You've passed the test. I'm very proud of you. I've never had people follow my directions that clearly in
All
my
anyone
life.
wants is for you to be proud of them.
Okay.
That's really all any of us want.
I am. I'm really proud. Is there anything you all want to go over before that we haven't talked about before we do our closing announcement?
No.
No.
Know that customer service is getting to you. We love you. You guys are amazing.
I think customer service is getting to you.
It's true.
Just cold, dead eyes.
Yeah, it's basically Theresa versus the world. So the little patience is appreciated on this end for sure.
All right, Justin, why don't we queue up our final announcement here, and we'll just say how grateful we are for you all.
We are very much so. Thank you.
And we'll wait here awkwardly until it goes. We adore you all.
We do. We do adore. Hey, look. Ivy Games came.
I think the camera just died.
I know.
Ours didn't.
It says charge the battery.
They lied. All of the adventures, the epic sagas of the intrepid and the valiant, all are campfire tales, peddled by the unfulfilled, by those who search but do not find. None of it is true, or if it is, none of it matters. There is something missing in those tales, something potent, vibrant, that separates the shallow heroism of sweat, steel, and narrowly avoided death from something more profound, from a saga worth telling, worth living. The thing missing in those tales, it burns within you. A spark, a radiance, flickering with life, waiting to be set free. For as long as you can remember, it has been there, free-flowing and formless, serene, and yet somehow savage. And yet, something has always held you back. Uncertainty, fear, the thing that calls us to accept that which is placed before us, to settle for a world defined by the past. The past is dead. Its promises fade like smoke, leaving the taste of ash in your mouth. You will wait no more. This thing burning inside you, its promises are deeper. The time has come to let it out.